Ladies and gentlemen, the Nintendo Switch has so many modern classics. I mean, some of the best games of all time have made an appearance or found a home on this console. But one of the best places where the Switch shines, at least in my opinion, is all the classic and retro games. And me myself, I have fell in love with these games in the last couple years. So in this video, I'm going to tell you 10 amazing retro games on the Switch that you absolutely need to play. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So if you ask somebody, what is a retro game? They'll probably just tell you an old game from their childhood, but I was curious, what is the real definition of a retro video game? And this is what I found right here, a game that is at least 20 years old, but not yet 40 years old. So yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? So in this video, we're gonna go over 10 retro games that are amazing still to this day. These are either available on the Switch to purchase directly, or on the Nintendo Switch Online app. Before we get started, if you could, please hit a like and subscribe. It would really mean the world to me. And let's get right into it. The first game we have to talk about is a game that I'm one day away from beating right now, and that's The Legend of Zelda, the Minish Cap. This originally was on the Game Boy Advance, and the crazy thing about this is I'm pretty sure Capcom developed this game, so it wasn't even Nintendo who made it. It is such a solid Zelda game, easily one of the best of all time. We are now in 2024. This game came out in 2004, so it's just hitting that threshold of being retro, but it feels like it could have came out today. I'm having so much fun in this game, and it's so crazy because when you think of a Game Boy Advance game, you're like, well, it's a Game Boy Advance game, it can't be that hard, but this game is truly freaking difficult. I've had to look up walkthroughs and gameplays multiple times. Other times I was wondering, how the hell would somebody figure this out without a guide? Truly so difficult and hard and just real secret areas. So if you're a fan of Zelda and you've never played this game, this is something you need to play immediately. It's so freaking good. And yeah, this is the perfect way to start off this list. Retro games are good. But imagine watching me as a retro YouTube video. I don't think it has the same charm. The next game we're going to talk about is Super Mario 64. There's a 99.9% chance, if you're a fan of Nintendo or playing games in general, you've probably played Mario 64, but if you have not, this is where 3D gaming, at least in my opinion, really kicked off. It let you know that the future was going to be bright for the world of 3D gaming. This game is still so good. It's something I play every single year, that I've played every single year for the past 20 years at least, and I'll continue to play it probably to the end of time because it just holds up. The camera system is wonky, but once you realize it's from the perspective of being filmed, then it kind of just makes sense and it's just easier to play. But I love this game. There's not a lot for me to say here. It's Mario. It's one of the most important video games of all time in my opinion. And yeah, I think I'll go play this again very soon. So a game that may or may not be getting a new entry or remake is Earthbound. If we get a remake or a new entry, that's amazing. If we don't, lucky for us, we still have this masterpiece to go back and play. If you're like me, you might have found out about Earthbound through NES and Super Smash Bros. I was like, I know Nintendo characters. Who the hell is this kid with a baseball bat that has powers? And then it was probably 10 years later that I finally got around to playing Earthbound. And let me tell you, it's not like any RPG you've played before. It feels like it's something that could actually happen to you. A meteor crashes into your town, and then you need to go and defeat an alien. It feels like an adventure that you could actually go on with your friends, and I think that's what makes it so special. It's not anything extraordinary, but being simple really adds to the charm. You can really connect yourself to these characters and the items and the enemies, and I just think it's such a special game. I think Nintendo would be doing us and them a disservice if they do not continue this franchise, because Earthbound really is a gem, and I hope more people get to experience this lovely franchise. And you can do it now, on the Switch. Go play it. What are you doing here? Wait. Finish this video, then go play it. So, I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I always defend every Sonic game, even the ones that suck. I'm like, they didn't suck that bad. They're not that bad. There's a good chance they were probably that bad. But I just love Sonic, I don't know why. And my favorite Sonic game of all time, without a doubt, is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I know this game is nowhere near the best Sonic game, but for some reason, it's my favorite. Sonic 1 is fine, but the fact that you can just go way faster in this one, I think, makes the game better. It's way more fluid. And it's just a game that will always be good. There's probably going to be robots in 300 years playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 because it's going to hold up that long. Even the stuff in this game that makes me angry, I really like. Going down in the water levels, it pisses me off. But for some reason, it's something I can continue to play. I've never rage quitted playing this game, And I think that's what's cool about it. Like, even when it's really hard, it's really fun and engaging. The music in this game, like, what are we doing here? I heard a rumor a long time ago that Michael Jackson helped compose music for this game. It's probably not true, but in my head, I'm gonna always think that it's true. And I could literally just listen to the casino level music in a 15-hour loop and be perfectly fine. I love everything about this game. And if for some reason you've never played a Sonic game, this is the game you need to play. So at this point, there's probably like 400 million Mario games, and we'll continue to get them till the ends of time. My favorite, I think, is probably Super Mario Bros. 3. It's the Mario game that I play every single year. It's so freaking good. I love everything about it, and it's just so impressive for how long ago this game came out. Like, going from the first Mario game to Super Mario Bros. 3 is such a huge leap, and they weren't that far apart. It's really cool because for the longest time, people were like, is this game like a play? You know, like how you run off of the stage at the end and it looks like there's all these backdrops. And then they finally came out and were like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And this game is really special. It's so cool because there's like hidden secret areas and all these little things you can do, and it's cool to learn them as you get older and as you play this game. One way that I judge how good a game is how many times you can replay it before it gets old, and this game will never get old. I could just put 10 Zelda games or 10 Mario games on this list, but it wouldn't be that great of a list. Well, maybe it would, I don't know, it depends who you're asking. But I had to put Ocarina of Time on this list. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time has been labeled as one of the best, if not the best, greatest video games ever. And it is so crazy going from their previous Zelda game to this one. I went back and played this last year and I was like, yeah, it's probably not going to be as good as I remembered, but it's still going to hold up. This game was absolutely still a masterpiece. An interesting thing about this game is that it actually is a game that made me fall in love entirely with gaming. Before this, I had played games here and there, and I would play Pokemon, and I would just play whatever. My neighbor invited me over to his house to play this game when we were 8 years old, and we would just pass the controller back and forth, and for the first day or two, I was like, this is pretty cool. And then by the time the end credits had rolled, I knew something in me had changed, and that I was going to be a gamer for the rest of my life. This game is just so special. It's truly remarkable to think about how amazing this game was, even back then, and how it holds up to this day. This game, I can't find a complaint about it, at least myself. I hope it never changes. It's perfect. So we have F-Zero 99 on the Switch, and that's cool, but it's nothing like the original. F-Zero on Super Nintendo is kind of amazing how well it holds up. When I would think back to my childhood, I would play this game all the time, and I didn't even know what it was called. I just knew it was this cool, futuristic racing game that looked so amazing and had really cool music and was super freaking hard. 5 or 10 years later, when I really got into gaming, I was like, oh, I was playing F-Zero the whole time. It truly is so impressive how all these games just hold up. Like, they don't need to be remade or remastered. You just port it to a new console and it's as good as it was the day it came out. I am happy that Nintendo brought F-Zero 99, and I do think they're testing the waters to see where people are at with this franchise. I just hope we get a new game regardless. Like, if it's the last game we'll ever get from them, fine. But we just need one more entry to really see where this franchise can go. So Metroid has got a huge resurgence in the last couple years. We had the Metroid Prime remastered, we had Metroid Dread, we're waiting on Metroid Prime 4. One of the quintessential Metroid games, at least in my opinion, is Super Metroid. In this game, you bring the last Metroid to a space colony for scientific study. Everything's looking up. Maybe the power of this Metroid can be harnessed for good. But once you leave, you receive a distress call. You come back and you find the scientist dead, and the Metroid larva has been stolen. Again, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but the game just still holds up. It still works. It's still tight and fluid and so fun and gets pretty serious and is insanely freaking hard sometimes. And this game could really get an entire video done on it, so I'm never gonna do it justice. So if you get a chance, just check it out. So we are kind of in a Donkey Kong drought, but lucky for us, there's so many classics to go back and play. It's probably not the best one, but my favorite is still Donkey Kong Country. Like, I think the second and third one are objectively better, but the first one is the one that everybody needs to play. It's just one of those games that remind me of my childhood. Rare and Nintendo really did do something special with this game, and I hope we get a new Donkey Kong game soon. But going back and playing this one, the gameplay, the music, the story is kind of funny, and it's just so freaking fun. Like, it was so fun to throw a barrel and make a little cave and then go in there and find a secret, or to ride a frog. And it was just so cool for you and Diddy Kong to go through and just beat the game, and I absolutely love it. So a game that just made an appearance on the Switch, like the day that I'm making this video, is Golden Sun: The Lost Age, and this game actually inspired me to make this video. Either Golden Sun game could rightly make this list, but this one just does everything a little bit better and is a little bit more impressive and has way more content. But a game like this truly shows you how well games were made back in the day and how well they still hold up. In the modern era, we're getting some of the best RPGs ever created, but games like this, dude, deserve to be played in their entirety in the exact way they are. This is another game that could have multiple hour-long videos made about it and you would still never do it justice. So all I can say is, if you're a fan of RPGs and you've never played a Golden Sun game, this is the one you need to play. Ladies and gentlemen, there was 10 classic retro games that are on the Switch that deserve to be played in 2024. Now I ask you, what is your favorite retro game of all time? It doesn't have to be on the Switch, just let me know. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you could hit like and subscribe, it would mean the world to me. And you guys know me, I'll see you soon with a new video. Peace out.